there, how's it going? I'm Brian Pickle, and we are back here in Pickleton for, I think, part 13 of our little Let's Play series for City Skylines 2. And if you missed it on the channel, I just want to say that this was part of a live stream, and I'm going back through a little bit to edit it into more of a traditional episode format for anybody who missed it, just because the poll results were so evenly split between wanting a live stream and wanting a typical episode. And I personally just felt that a third regular episode of the Downtown just wasn't going to be as interesting as maybe doing it live. So that's why I went that route. And so what we're starting off with here today is I had been running the game for a little bit to increase our bank a bit because we were running out of money very, very quickly, placing a lot of those assets for the Downtown, some of the unique buildings and things like that. So we needed a little bit more cash in the pocket to be able to finish this build because some of those assets just cost tons of money, like millions and millions of dollars, and we had been using quite a few of them. So that's what we've got going on here. And so what I've thought of doing to start off, again, kind of keeping with our North American theme of a little bit of a heightened police presence and such, is to actually unlock the, what's it called? Not the prison. The central bank. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. And I think, now also the reason why I want to do this is because it actually happens to fit perfectly in this little square. So it's kind of one of those moments where, like, you know, it fits there, so you got to do it. So what I'm going to do to start off here, and it's super expensive, so that's why I needed a little bit of money, is take off our snapping, and I want to kind of get it right in the center here and kind of fill up this whole square. I don't want like the back space just being empty, so I want to try to get it right in the middle. And because it fits so perfectly, I should be able to get it pretty close and well, get another milestone, and also so that it, you know, touches the pavement still and doesn't leave like too much room in the back or in the front, to make it look a little bit more like it's on purpose and not just it didn't quite fit perfectly into this space. So we're starting with that. It looks like we got some traffic going on over here, which is not unexpected, but interesting because I haven't really been running into too many problems with it. But I think sometimes it's just an influx of people coming in, so we'll worry about that later. And we still have tons of money coming in, so that's great. And, oh, we got an abandoned building. I think there's something wrong with the zoning over here, though. It doesn't say that there's anything wrong with the zoning, it just keeps becoming immediately abandoned, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. But it doesn't say that there's any problem here, so. Okay, and with that, let's go back over to here. Because what I want to do is throw in a couple buildings nearby, a couple little offices and stuff, kind of complement this area. A couple other little things that I want to do here is like clean up some of this stuff that was just, I'm not really sure what I was thinking with this. It looks really silly there, so I'm going to get rid of it. Like, I don't mind a little bit of this stuff going on. It's not horrible, but I don't want it everywhere in all these empty spaces. And with a little bit of that stuff cleaned up, it was kind of driving me crazy looking at it there, sorry. So with that cleaned up, we are moving over to the castle ruins. So I had asked people to leave kind of comments and suggestions about what we should do with the castle, and there were a lot of really great ones. And a lot of people didn't want me to get rid of it, and I totally agree with that. But what I think is it just doesn't quite fit in our North American downtown. So I'm planning to move it over to our European side eventually. Whether I put that on the hill, in the Cornerstone Hills, our little gated fancy neighborhood, or kind of in the downtown core that we will eventually return to and kind of rezone. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and move it a little bit, and we're going to replace it. Okay, so now that we have a little bit of money, we have a couple options available to us for things that we can put in this center. I think somebody did also suggest moving the Grand Hotel, which is an option. Obviously, then we'll have to figure out, whoops, he's hitting all kinds of buttons here. We'll have to figure out what to do with the space where we put the hotel, which is not a problem. It just obviously will leave a weird empty gap at the moment if we move it. But this does fit here, so that is an option. But I also think that the hotel went really nice. And my original plan was to put the hotel there. But since the castle was there, I was like, well, maybe we'll leave it. So, okay, let's give the hotel a try because we don't have to. I mean, it does cost money to move it, but not that much. Obviously I don't want it facing this direction though. So what I want to do is let's just grab a random road right now. Well, you know what? I think it has to be a full-size road. Because otherwise the zoning or the distance and such might be off if I don't use a regular width road. Okay, so I want to turn it around then. And have it face this way. And then what I want to do, we'll get rid of this. And what we're going to do is grab our curve tool. And we'll take this. And we'll just hook it right in like that. We'll do the same thing on the other side. And then we can do like a little bit of a fancy design kind of thing going on over here. And now this would be like an excellent place to have like surface painter. Just to fill in that little tiny gap that kind of drive me nuts. But I can but is it centered? I don't know. Let's see, I can try to center it a little bit more. Maybe I can clean that up a little bit. I think that's slightly better, but still not perfect, but that's okay. Then it looks pretty centered down there. And we have a nice plaza kind of in front of it. It's probably full of homeless, though. Actually, oh no, yeah, here they are. Here's their little tents. Now, you'll have to forgive a little bit of the jumping around here. I'm doing a little bit of voiceover and also putting in just clips from the actual live stream that kind of fit in our normal format where I'm not just directly talking to the audience. So bear with me. I'm trying to do something new here, working with turning the VOD into something that we can watch. So right now I'm trying to decide exactly what to put in place of the Grand Hotel that we moved. So there were a couple different options that were discussed, but we ended up thinking that the Ferris wheel was going to be the best option. So I just need to go through here and delete a little bit of the infrastructure and things and parks and whatnot that we had placed to go with the Grand Hotel so that we can make a little bit of room for the Ferris wheel. And now that I've cleared up a little bit of the space around the Ferris wheel and where it will go, it's really just down to decide exactly what kind of orientation we want it to go in. And so I originally had thought that just kind of facing towards the hotel, just on the road that already existed was, not a bad idea. But a couple people in the live stream were suggesting to turn it about 90 degrees so it faces out the other direction on the water like I have it now. And I thought that was a really, truly brilliant idea. But we needed a little bit more money to actually make that happen. So we took out our very first loan in the city. And just to buy the Ferris wheel, it'll be super easy to pay it back. We're making plenty of money in the city. But because I've placed so many of those buildings recently that cost, upwards of several millions of dollars, we kind of ran out of money. But so I ended up placing it here. And I really, really enjoyed the view of being able to see the other city. Or not city, but I guess it's another city. Our European side of the river, which will eventually have its own kind of sprawling downtown with some higher buildings and things like that. So then we just go ahead and throw on a road at the back so that we can get it all connected up the way that we like to, so that people can get into it and around it very easily. And I'm purposely avoiding, of course, connecting into the roundabout at all, just because I want as little connections on that roundabout as possible. I want it to be very, very free-flowing. So we're going to go ahead and take the road into our main road here. And it was giving me a little bit of trouble trying to get the right angle. It wanted to snap kind of weird. And then, I don't want traffic backing up on that little spot. So we're just going to go ahead and take out those crossings and the light there. And I really like how the results turned out. I really like that people will be able to, in theory, if they're riding the Ferris wheel, they'll be able to see out into that other cityscape. And I think that's really cool. And plus, either way, you can see the cityscape on this side, on the North American side, depending on, which side of the Ferris wheel you're looking out of. We will, of course, return to that area later to sort of detail it up and finalize it, but I wanted to jump over here again to some of these other empty spaces and check out our schooling situation, our education, because we are again at capacity. The elementary school that we put in with the hospital build in the last episode was already at capacity, so we really needed another one for this area, which I knew was going to be a problem. I knew that at some point we were going to need at least one more elementary school in the downtown, possibly even two, depending on exactly how we filled it. So with this other empty space area over here, I thought it would be a good idea to grab the elementary school and place it over here. And I wanted to do, I don't like to put them on the main roads very much because I think it just creates a little bit more of the stop and go traffic from that area. So I've gone ahead and placed it a little bit on an angle to give a nice little corner look to this building. So it kind of faces this roundabout system over here. And I liked that the area was big enough to not only place the elementary school, but to also place all of its sub-buildings and all of its upgrades, as well as throw in some other kind of park assets to make it a larger school complex. Now, I thought about putting in a high school as well, kind of in this area, but the demand is just not there for it, and I decided not to spend any money unnecessarily on a high school. But that doesn't mean that we can't use a couple similar assets to kind of round the area out. So, as usual, we're going to go through and we're going to, box off the building itself, close it all in, and make sure that everything is kind of connected and people have multiple ways to get in there. And then what I wanted to do is go ahead and grab the football field. So in the downtown, we already have a soccer field, so I wanted another large sports park, but I obviously didn't want to do the same thing. And here I'm just debating whether or not I want it centered behind the elementary school itself or just a little bit on the side. And what I'm really worried about is traffic on some of those main roads. With this particular intersection that we're taking a look at, I don't want too many buildings and things on there just because the way that the turns are set up, I feel like it'll just create a little bit of a jam. So I've decided to place the football field further back, not centered with the rest of the school, so that it kind of takes up some of those zoning spaces near that intersection. That way I'm not tempted to zone them up later. And of course, we got to throw in a little bit of parking to make sure that people can get in and that they have somewhere to park so that they can come and watch the game. But another thing I wanted to do is just bump up the roadside parking fee because I don't want people to park on the road. And if that is way more expensive than parking in parking lots, hopefully they'll choose the parking lots. We have some offices here. And I think I want them to be a little bit bigger, higher density than that. I don't want them to be too huge, but like a little bit bigger than that. Let's see if I can get something else in. And then I think, we don't have any people in this area, so let's see. I think I want to connect these two areas up a little bit. I think I'm going to take out some of these paths, some of these buildings. Well, I guess I have to dezone them first because the demand is so high they will just immediately rebuild. We'll get rid of those. And then take this road straight out the back and kind of meet it up with this one. Here goes another autosave and my little heart attack, thinking it was crashing on me again. And we can drag that up there. Okay, I like this. I think what we could do is also make a little bit of like a housing complex back here with a little bit of high density on this side. And a little bit of like medium density coming in here. Maybe I think I want the mixed use to stay only on sort of more main roads, not alleyway roads. Then just gonna vary up a little bit of the sizes and heights of these. Ooh, and a signature building. Okay. I love the signature buildings. So let's, I don't like that sometimes they're very hard to actually unlock, though. I like this. Put this right here. At least we can just check it out, get a look at it. It's a very nice building. I think I like it right along the water, too. I feel like that would be a nice place for it to be as well. Like, that's a pretty sick view. I mean, if you get rid of all the symbols of people paying too high rent, now it's a nice view. So I think I'm very happy with that. And then, yeah, I don't want too high around the school, and I want, you know, a little bit of park space around it. And then I think maybe just a little bit more of, like, low-density commercial back here. Maybe some more kind of park assets. We could do a little small park and small playground. A dog park in here, too. Kind of serve this whole area. I think that's a pretty good idea. Everybody loves dog parks. Like the law of City Skylines. You have to have dog parks everywhere. And I think going down this direction is where I kind of want to take it a little bit less dense. Start moving kind of away from our high density. And like I think in here would be a really cool place to have some row houses. I think about that deep would be fine. Maybe a couple low density things down here. Low density office in here. See how those grow in. What do I think about along here? I think we'll try to keep it low still. I think low density is going to do us well over here. Kind of wanted like a bigger one though. Larger. A larger space. And then we'll do a little bit of office. I'll make sure I'm on low density. Good. Okay. We'll do some over here as well. And a nice little commercial block in there. And then maybe a little parking lot. I'm going nuts with the parking now. Now that I've remembered it exists. Trying to think if I want something to kind of go through in the back here as well. Or if I want to leave this more like protected and do some park space back here. Walkable stuff to get from like over here to over there. And just leave it with some trees to block out the sound. Got more rain in Pickleton here. And let's see. I keep checking on the school because I feel like we are going to need another one somewhere. But for now, I think it's okay. We can turn back our attention over to our little central bank, which is another... I love the assets. I really do. I wish we had access to the kind of detailing stuff that exists within them. And I would love to be able to, like, make this myself. That would be the ideal situation. Like, they look really nice and all, but it just takes a little bit of the fun out of things to not be able to make this space myself. So I think, well, there definitely seems to be a call for some commercial over here. So maybe we'll throw another larger commercial building back here. Let's turn off this view. Got like some high density towers right next to it. You know, another thing that I think we probably need over in this area is, since we have one in our other side of the town over here, we have a welfare office over here and an abandoned building apparently. I thought we could maybe do a welfare office on this side as well in this downtown. And I thought it could probably fit in this area with the bank. I think that is also under police and admin. And yes. And it fits. I don't think I want it right up against the highway, but I could put it kind of in the corner over here. Like that. And kind of make these two sort of fit in together. What do we think about this? I think I like it. Maybe throw a couple offices in or a little bit of parking or something nearby. One thing I know that I don't want is I don't want any zoning along this road. So, just because I feel like that is going to be a traffic nightmare as well. So I'm going to try to correct a little bit of the zoning and get it off of here. Plus, because it's a little bit curvy like that, I was having some issues where buildings would just like not pop in there anyway. Like this one still thinks it's attached there. It's not. Go away. And then I think I want a little bit more office kind of around the, what is it? The bank? I think those two things kind of go together a little bit. Some sort of like administration for this area. God, we're already snowing again? Wasn't it just snowing? I swear. I think this area could be a nice little bit of green space. Since it's awkwardly shaped already anyway. You know what? I think I'm okay with the crosswalk being there, actually. Can make some little paths go in here. I wish these behaved better in corners. But, just one more thing to add to the list. Like, I'm not really sure what's going on over there, but I'm not going to worry about it today. So, I think what I would like to do is actually put in another sort of park asset. A large playground, again, is just not very large. I feel like it's a little bit of a misnomer. It's actually a pretty small park. I think it should fit over here, which is nice. We'll do that. And then we'll head back over to this little area where I decided that I definitely did not want to leave that big empty blank space. So I threw in the large city park, and then again, as usual, just went ahead and boxed it all in so that everywhere is, you know, nice and connected up, and people have multiple ways to get in and out of stuff. I think that's really important to help alleviate with like the traffic situation, is so that everybody doesn't just bottleneck into one area. And then just extending a couple of these other roads out to help place a couple other buildings for some other parks and things. So again, just making sure that there's a couple different connections to get us around. And then I'm just going through this area and adjusting a little bit of the zoning, putting in just a little bit of housing, some medium density. Just because in this area, now that we're moving further away from like the downtown core, I want things to start trickling back down to like lower and medium density to kind of blend back in with the university, as well as kind of like that main street along the university where everything is kind of more of a medium density. Then I moved back over to this little triangular area, and I've done a similar thing in other parts of the city when there's these little strange, kind of awkwardly shaped areas, throwing in a couple little park assets and connecting everything up with a few paths just to kind of round out the area and fill that in with something that gives it a little bit more purpose and doesn't leave it just completely empty or blank. Now that area is zoned up a little bit more and we'll have more people coming in, I thought it was time that we finally added a little bit more connection into the city off of the highway. So we're just going through and adding a couple of these on-ramps and off-ramps along this highway here on the other side of the river right near the university. So I've really enjoyed making these kinds of intersections or interchanges on highways. Are they the most realistic as far as their inclines and things? Probably not, but I've really enjoyed making them. They're probably one of the simpler kinds of interchanges to make. So I thought that these would just be a quick, easy way to get some access on and off the highway here, so that people, again, have multiple ways to get in and out of the city so that they don't bottleneck all into one interchange, which is, you know, just really important to do. Okay, somebody also suggested that I could maybe use bike lanes in here to... Can I do this as a bike lane? So it's like only service vehicles can use it now? Because I want it to kind of be like an express lane for ambulances. I mean, you know, pedestrian streets allow anybody to be on them, so... See, like, look at this guy. It's just a motorcycle. Not a cop motorcycle, it's just a motorcycle. Breaking all the rules. Oh well, whatever. We can still use our imagination. I guess in this area we can start decreasing our density a little bit. Getting back down to kind of ground level and meeting up with this area with our little medium density and row housing heavy area. So let's do a little bit of that. And that is pretty much the majority of the build for what we actually got done in the live stream, as far as placing some ploppable assets and some of those service buildings and things. So from here on out, we're going to jump into our typical detailing and zoning time lapse and finish up this area and make it all look nice and put together, put our decorations in, make everything look all connected how it should be, and finish it off. So I'll let you enjoy a little time lapse of that, and I'll catch you at the end to go over everything we did. But yeah, I think we will call it here for today. Because, that's really all there is to do. We've got the whole area filled out, and I think it's looking pretty good. So I think pretty soon, I want to take a break from doing downtown stuff in the next episode or two. At least, like with the high density kind of stuff downtown. So we'll hold off on kind of redoing this area and increasing density, and we'll move elsewhere in the city. But otherwise, that will do it for today's episode. So I hope you still enjoyed it. I know the format was a little bit different and probably jumped around a little bit more than usual, but of course, again, remember it is a VOD re-edited. So if you want to see the whole thing, that's still on the channel under live. You can find the VOD there, but it is 2 hours, so I don't feel bad if you don't want to watch 2 whole hours of it and you just want to watch a quicker little blurb of it. So either way, thank you everybody so much to those who were able to make it. If you weren't, no hard feelings. I hope you enjoyed this. And as usual, if you did enjoy it and you want to see more of the city grow, feel free to leave a like below or subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But otherwise, that is going to do it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and enjoy some cinematics of the city on your way out.